listening to the Fours Up Podcast with your host, Marsh.
Good afternoon, Canes fans. It is the Fours Up Podcast. It is Friday, November 13th. It is Virginia Tech Eve. As always, I am joined by my wonderful producer and co-host, Jordan Nelson. It is Friday, Jordan. How are we feeling?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm excited for this game. I think I have a different prediction than most Canes fans for it, but I think it's going to be a good one. Another nail biter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll say it right now. I haven't decided yet on a prediction. I'm going to pray throughout the show, but I am nervous. I will not lie. Virginia Tech always scares me. They always play us tough. We've talked about it since we started this show that, besides FSU and UF, Virginia Tech is really that next rival for us. Yeah. And so, this is always a close game. I feel like Virginia Tech's a well-coached team. They're not the old Frank Beamer Hokies that we used to know and hate, but there's still hatred in our heart for them. But we have a big show for you guys today. We got Craig Smith coming on first from State of the U, and then our good friend Gaby Urrutia will be joining us after. So what do you say? Let's talk to him about AB, and then let's get Craig on the show.
Yeah, man. So, as always, you guys hear it every week, but make sure you're checking out Stickers by AB. He's a good friend of ours. And if you use the discount code FOURSUP, that's the number 4 SUP, you'll get 15% off any of the stickers that you purchase from him. He's helping us out with our merch when it finally drops, and then also, we're partnered in him with a giveaway. So we're in the middle of doing that. I'll repost the tweet tonight. But if you need to be following the Fours Up account and the Stickers by AB account, and then if you like and retweet that tweet, then and also tag a friend, you'll be eligible for a sticker giveaway. So we'll probably be choosing someone tomorrow before the game and announcing it on Twitter, and then we'll send you some cool stickers.
Cool. Yeah, make sure to check out AB. He's a homie, and so and he's good, great work as well. So really, really like those stickers. So let's get our first guest on the line.
Cool.
Craig, what's going on, brother?
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man? You're live on Fours Up.
I'm good. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. So we now welcome on Craig Smith. He's a fellow writer at State of the U. Also does some work for the Dolphins for their blog. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We've been meaning to get you on the show for a while. That's my bad.
No, I'm excited about it, man. You guys are certainly moving up. I'm looking forward to talking. I know we didn't catch up at the Florida game last year, so I've definitely been wanting to talk with you guys. And we don't get this opportunity that often, so I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay, so Virginia Tech, Miami tomorrow. Virginia Tech comes into the game 4-3 record. Their game last week against Liberty was one of the more wild finishes I think we've seen in college football. Bud Foster is gone. Frank Beamer is long gone. What stands out to you at first about this Virginia Tech team? Because they're not that defensive squad that we're used to seeing from a Virginia Tech program.
Man, I guess it's you hit on it first, and that's the thing that really when you look at Virginia Tech this year giving up what they've given up. Granted, they were hit by COVID, as we know. They've had double-digit guys out, I think, at least 2 games. But still, when you think Virginia Tech football for the past 20, 30 years, you think knock the snot out of you, hard-hitting, top 10, top 20 type defense, 20-14 kind of games. This is, and what you're seeing now is a defense that's ranked, I think I read on State of the U, they're ranked 94th as far as total yards. If you dig further into that, they're 74th in scoring, a little better, I think, in their red zone defense, around 50, 60 something. But, I mean, this is a team that just gives it up defensively. They're not very physical. They get the ball run down their throat. I think Liberty ran it about 50 times last week for around 250 yards, if I remember seeing that right. And if you just they run out of a base 4-2-5, and really I'm a little surprised they haven't gone heavier from what I've watched, because I just when you watch them play, the limited amount I've watched them play this year, they've gotten knocked off the ball, and that is the exact opposite of what you would expect to see from a Bud Foster Virginia Tech defense. So it's really strange to see. But that's what happens in college football with the changing of the tides and programs going up and down and changing their identities and what they look like. And I think that as far as what's the most glaring thing to me, far and away, that, the Tech's downfall on the defensive end of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm looking at it right now. They gave up 249 yards last week against Liberty.
249,
They're also 11th in the ACC when it comes to pass defense. And so, given what the Canes did on offense last week, do you see Miami being able to move the ball in a similar way?
I do. I think that it's going to be interesting to see which way Rhett Lashley and wants to attack this defense, because and I've written about this on my Monday musings, is the past couple weeks is Miami's own problems creating a push with their front five, just running the football out of their base sets. I mean, it's we know the problem. The problem has been 2.3 yards per carry against Pitt and 2.5 against Virginia, even taking out struggling Cam Harris from the equation. That's their rushing output in those two games without Harris out of the equation. That's terrible. That's absolutely awful. And it's no doubt coincided with lighting a fire underneath Miami's wide receivers as well. So that pickup, especially the production from Mike Harley, has kind of saved them. Which way will they go this week? Will they try to open up the game on the ground and air it out and kind of stretch the defense that way and open it up? I think it may depend a little bit on game flow. If they give up a touchdown and go down 7-0, you may see them open up a little bit more. But if they get the ball first, I would expect them to run their base offense and test that Tech defensive front. Certainly, if let's face it, I mean, as much as we want to talk X's and O's, we're talking about a team as talented as the Liberty Flames was able to go run down the field and run for 250 yards. So if Miami's front five can't line up and get at least a couple of first downs and show a little physicality, then I don't care how well we throw the ball. That's concerning.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a take or an opinion, and Craig, I want you to tell me your thoughts on it. I'm actually really worried about this matchup for us, and you kind of pointed as to why is Virginia Tech's running defense is really bad. But we've struggled to generate any kind of push in the last few weeks in the run game. I mean, really, the only guy that's done anything significant in the run game is De'Ara King, and those are usually on broken plays as opposed to design quarterback runs, typically speaking. So, I mean, I'm just worried about this, man. I'm not expecting a loss, but I'm actually expecting the same type of shootout that we saw last week. In that I expect our defense to give up huge numbers to Virginia Tech's rushing attack, and specifically to their quarterback. But I think we'll put up numbers as well, man. But it's a scary game to me. I'm not looking at this thinking, like my mouth isn't watering thinking about their bad defense, because I think they're thinking that exact same thing. Is they're thinking, we have the third ranked offense in the ACC. We have one of the best rushing attacks in all of college football. And Miami's defense can be soft up the middle and struggles horizontally. So we're going to take advantage of that all day.
Well, I think a lot of it depends. And really this, we try to prognosticate. We try to figure out, how the stats look like that'll play out. I think game flow depends so much, and situational football depends so much on how teams respond, what their offensive philosophies are, and how you take advantage of it. So, I think if Miami struggles to run the football, which I have the same concern as you, I just, that Louisville game, second half UAB game, we saw obviously the FSU game, dear goodness, but, we saw a right side of that Miami offensive line behind Jared Williams, that was just dominant for a short period of time. That's disappeared all the way across the line. So, I share that concern. But it's funny. I think I'm trying to remember who I was tweeting with. I think I was tweeting with Stephen Cheatham about this, and that's another thing. We all have these interactions, all of us on Twitter daily. But it's nice to be able to sit down and talk about this. Mm-hmm. He was concerned about this game being a toss-up as well. But I go back to the same thing, and that's who has the best player on the field for both teams. Unquestionably, it's the Miami Hurricanes with De'Ara King. Not even close. And one thing that we've seen and you hit on it, and I agree. I think it's a good point. Is when you look at De'Aaron King, I think a lot of fans, is trying to gauge what people feel in relation to what he can do. I think we've seen a lot as far as his arm lately, and I think it's been great. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, you can't complain anything about his arm the past couple games, but I think a lot of the hype coming in was his willingness and what he could do, just constantly run the ball on the ground. I feel like Rhett Lashley has really held off on what he at least as far as anything's been directed. I don't feel like De'Aaron King has really run as much as, honestly, me personally, I expected him to this year. I feel like there's been opportunities for him to pull it in on those RPOs and take it wide, and I'm kind of curious to see if maybe we'll start to see a little bit more out of that, albeit by design or out of necessity. Because as you mentioned, when he hits those plays, he generates the plays that really have swung some games. When Miami was down against NC State, that run really kind of helped turn them around later on in the first half. So I'm concerned, obviously, as you, that with Miami's run game, as we've all talked about, but I think that King can give them the spark to turn this into a shootout. And that's to say nothing about Miami's defense either, because what Herndon Hooker can do as far as with that RPO and the way they've designed some things this year. I mean, you're talking about some serious assignment football for this defense, and that's the one thing. The one thing that concerns me the most about this game is how is just kind of how multiple the looks are that Virginia Tech gives you on as far as your defense against our offense, and that's what worries me the most. I think Miami's going to get theirs. I'm just concerned about how well Miami's defense is going to respond and play assignment football this tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are concerned about, especially after giving up 41 points to an NC State team with a backup quarterback. But, Khalil Herbert may be out, or, he's going to be limited tomorrow because he got injured against Liberty last week. How do you see the Virginia Tech offense looking without, arguably their best player, at the running back position? Obviously Hooker is he's a big bastard for a quarterback, and he can move and he can sling it as well. So how do you see the Virginia Tech offense doing, possibly without Herbert or with a limited Herbert?
Well, I think really it's going to come down to how well, as I mentioned, how well Miami can make the right read on early downs, in the RPOs. Going back to State of the U, I thought Justin DeTavia did a great job showing just kind of the mobility that in the multiple looks that Virginia Tech can give you just straight out of the backfield with they get creative. They'll pull a guard and they'll run a backside counter where they fake the handoff to the running back. Everybody goes to the running back. The guard pulled. It looks like it's your sure run. Hooker will pull it back and keep it. And it just completely okey-dokes the defense. And that's where it comes down to assignment football, because they get really good at kind of the deception with that. So I thought that was a good example by Justin. And that's what concerns me, because Miami's defense the past few weeks is just, aside from the penalties and the sloppy play, they just haven't played good assignment football. And that comes down to stopping the run and your run fits, and they've been, quite frankly, not good at all at that. So, I really think it starts with being able to make that proper read at the line, and for Bradley Jennings and for Zach McLeod, they're gonna have to hit their run fits as well, because if they can't stop these 7 plays, 80-yard drives, just might as well forget about it. And it all starts with being able to slow down Hooker on early downs, force him to give the ball up and to be able to play assignment football. Otherwise, forget about it. And that's to say nothing about what Virginia Tech's big play wide receivers down the field, because James Mitchell, Tavion Robinson, and Trey Turner, I mean, they've got 3 guys that are all averaging close to 15 yards or more per catch, which is even more than what Miami's guys have been generating this year. So, if you don't stop the run, then you just got to pick your poison there.
So we've talked a little bit about our rushing offense struggling to get a push at the line, and then we've talked about our run defense going up against that Virginia Tech rushing attack. I'm curious as to what you find a bigger concern for this game. Are you more worried about our run offense being able to generate some production, or are you more worried about us stopping their run offense? So I guess, are you worried about our run offense or our run defense?